This is Fritz Frivolous with continuous live coverage of the corner of Curious Lane and Just Because Boulevard, the epicenter of the alien invasion. And this just in, King Kong is fighting the Mobile Suit Gundam. And of course, all of this is happening amidst World War IV, making it pure pandemonium. If only Captain Planet were still alive to save us all. Dude, could you imagine? Zelda, Super Mario Bros., Mega Man, Castlevania. These games aren't just fun to play. The musical tracks that come within make them also great to listen to. Each level is accompanied by a musical score filled with enticing riffs and hypnotic melodies that can create earworms, which will have you humming or whistling for days on end. But what if you can pick any musician to redo the musical score to any video game? What game would you pick? Which musician would you choose? Let us level up with our two glitch-free gamers, Will and Tom, as we press continue to find an answer. Welcome back, everybody. This is Tom Case.
This is Will Stark.
Will, exciting, awesome news.
I know. I've heard about it, and I can't wait to announce it. Not one,
but two new DCYI patron members. All right, we do have two new members, and one has joined us as a DCYI co-producer by the name of Nick Woisen. I really hope I pronounced that last name correctly.
Thank you, Nick.
Thank you very much, Nick. And we also had another patron join us in the DCYI field reporter, and his name is Eric James.
So we got two co-producers and a field reporter.
Yep.
We're building quite the team over here.
We're growing big time. And both Nick and Eric chose a tier that gives them the perk of a fan request question.
Right.
So guess what tonight is?
It's fan request night?
It's fan request night.
All right, let's do it. Thank you guys for submitting questions.
Yes. I definitely love both of these questions. The first one we're going to do is actually going to be Eric James. And Eric had wrote into us. He said, actually, you know what? He says he found us via the Dungeon Cast. He says, shout out to cool. Demogorgon.
Of course.
He does say the two of us together make a great team.
Thank you.
And he really loves the blend of a little bit of everything that we bring.
Awesome.
The question he had, though, is a scenario.
Oh.
And it was if we can have any music redone for a video game, like by a musician that we, obviously like and can pick anyone, which video game would we choose to have the music redone and by whom? He gives an example of, like, if you're familiar with Nine Inch Nails, Trent Reznor, who actually has done like music for video games.
Yeah. I think he might have done some stuff for Silent Hill even. I'm not sure about that, but I think he might have.
That might be another reason for me to finally start playing that game.
Silent Hill is amazing. I love it. It's my favorite horror game series of all time.
Everyone who's told me, and I even hear people who it's not like the whole Star Trek, Star Wars fandom where a lot of people are like, you either love Star Trek or Star Wars.
Right.
Because, Silent Hill and Resident Evil were both like pretty big competitors for that.
Yeah, it's actually, I think that's a pretty fair comparison because like there is a certain analog in that, like, Star Wars and Star Trek are both sci-fi, but Star Trek is more of a hard sci-fi that's a little bit more based in like realistic scenarios of like where science could go, while Star Wars is more of a space fantasy.
Yeah, exactly.
Like they're the same genre, but they're very different. I would say the same with Silent Hill and Resident Evil. Resident Evil is a zombie horror. It's about corporations run wild. It's about like evil and greed and corruption and all that other stuff. Silent Hill is about repressed memories and abuse and like sexual abuse and a bunch of other really dark shit. And it's more of like an eldritch horror, cosmic horror thing. Yeah, it's they're very different. They're not alike at all.
Yeah, which I'm glad because like, fans of both genres or both games, they seem to like both.
Yeah, Resident Evil can be scary, but Silent Hill's fucking disturbing.
Yeah, I remember when I saw the movie, I thought the movie was pretty disturbing.
Yeah.
When that.
I am a big fan of the movie, but I think we're getting off track.
Yes, we are.
Let's get back to. So most questions on this show, Tom does not let me know ahead of time, but he has been letting me know the patron ones ahead of time. So I've come prepared with two answers. How many answers do you have for this one?
I have I have one answer for the game.
Okay.
But I have a couple answers for who I might want to.
Oh, so one game but two possible artists.
Yeah.
Okay, so you want me to lead with one, then we'll go to you, and then we'll bounce back to me?
Yeah, I think that'll be a good idea.
Okay, so I had two. I couldn't decide between the two, so I decided to talk about them both. The first would be, we're going to go back to the very first original. We're going back to 1988, I believe. The Legend of Zelda.
Oh, okay.
And I know that the question asker led with the parameters of we're redoing the music, but I'm like, fuck it, let's just redo the whole damn game.
Yeah.
Yeah, like we're going to redo the music, and we're going to update the pixel, so we're going from 8-bit to 16-bit or whatever, and we're going to do like modern, awesome pixel art.
Oh, okay.
But other than that, like nothing else has changed. It's the same game,
gameplay,
just with updated pixel art and updated music. And I thought a really cool and kind of different take on the classic 8-bit sound is why don't we hire what I think is the greatest 8-bit band to ever exist, Anamanaguchi.
Oh,
have you ever heard of Anamanaguchi?
I have heard of yes.
So I think I don't remember my details. Like, I don't know if I remember my details correctly. It's been a while, and maybe I should have done some research before I brought them up. But I think they're a 3-piece band from New York. But they specialize in a blend of music that is. They started off more like 8-bit meets garage rock, and then they went more like garage rock meets 8-bit meets dance music. But I'm talking about their early era where it was 8-bit meets garage rock. And most notably, they did the soundtrack for the video game Scott Pilgrim vs. the World, which is a really good game. It's like a beat 'em up.
Oh,
it's like an arcade beat 'em up.
I remember you talking about that.
I own it on the Switch. It's fantastic. I actually played it on the channel with my sister, and it was really cool. But they did their third album. I think it's the third album. Is just that soundtrack. They did all the music, and it's also their third album. And quite frankly, it might be their best album. It's amazing. And they really captured the energy, the youthful energy, and the like kind of garage indie feel, but made it very 8-bit. And also their music is very reminiscent of like just old 8-bit style games.
Yeah.
And it'd be really cool to see like a bright, polished, repixelated Legend of Zelda that then took those songs and did it in the Anamanaguchi style. I think that'd be really fun.
That does sound dope.
Yeah.
And you know what, even though like, you know, don't get me wrong, like, you know, it's cool when you have, like, for example, there are certain bands out there that I do love to listen to. I think one of them is called Mini Bosses. Oh, yeah. And, you know, they're like, basically they're like rock bands and stuff, but they do almost purely video game music. You know what I mean?
Right.
And I love listening to those, like, you know, when you played, I don't know if you ever played Contra.
Yeah.
Right on Nintendo.
Yeah,
okay, the music on there.
It's great.
Even though it was like, what is that back? What was that? Still 16-bit or 8-bit? Yeah. It was so catchy. Almost every level I could like, yeah, you know what I mean? Like, it was so good.
Yeah.
But when you hear it played live, you know, obviously that's a high fidelity, like the sound is way better. You know?
Right. Yeah, absolutely.
And it just sounds so good. You know?
Yeah,
like, it
absolutely.
Sounds so awesome.
Absolutely.
Like I even have a list of video game music just on my Spotify.
I do as well.
Yeah. And I listen to it. You know what I mean? Because the music is good. Like,
it is. It's very
songs.
good.
Yeah.
It's why it was chosen for you to have to listen to over and over and over again in a game.
Yeah.
It had to be good.
I never thought about that because you're right. When you're playing a video game, most likely, especially if it's difficult, you're going to play that level over and over. Or if the game is so fun, you're going to play the whole game over and over.
Yeah.
And that would suck if you got tired of the music.
Oh, yeah.
But you never seem to get tired of it. Like Mega Man, Mario, right?
all
Contra,
the games.
Like all those music is like...
As a matter of fact, it was actually hard for me to do this thought experiment just because it's like, oh, why would I want to redo the music? It's so good.
Yeah, that's true.
So I had to go way back for that one. But also, I'll add to this. A lot of, like you said, mini bosses, and I'm familiar with them. But Anamanaguchi, one of the cool things about them is they don't redo video game music. They do music in the video game style. So they do original music.
Oh, okay.
And yeah, that's what I love about them. That's why I think they're a good pick, because it's like, it's their style that I'm looking to bring to the music itself.
Yeah.
And yeah. So anyways.
Oh, wait. So, okay, wait. I was imagining that when you redid this for Legend of Zelda, is it going, like, are you talking about them actually doing that music or making?
No, they're going to do, I guess, covers, you could say, of the in-game music. Funnily enough, Legend of Zelda has like 4 songs. It's an old game. You have the world map, you have the dungeon, I think you have the Ganon fight, and then you have the introduction music. And that's it.
And the fairy music, whenever you meet fairy, I think that's a different song.
No, I don't think there's fairy music. In the original Zelda, you might be thinking of Link to the Past.
Are you sure it doesn't go...
Yeah, you're talking about Link to the Past.
Okay.
Yeah,
I was thinking that was also in the other one.
no, I'm pretty sure there's no fairy music. There's like 4 songs. Granted,
And they're all good songs.
and they're all great. They're all fantastic. So yeah, Anamata Gucci, that's my pick or my first pick. But you go ahead.
You know what? Okay, so you kind of touched on reasons that are good reasons why I didn't just go. When I first heard this question, my first thing was, I'm going to my favorite game, God of War.
Yeah.
And I'm going to just pick wouldn't that be cool if you just had this cool rock band, someone who shreds and stuff, right?
Sure.
That was my first reaction.
Okay.
And then while you were talking, I started thinking about points of why that wouldn't be so great. And which one of them, which you brought up, which was, I mean, it's already so great. Why would you want to change it? Like, if you've played God of War, right?
Or you've at least it's been a long time, but yeah, it's a great game.
And the music's already awesome. You know what I mean? Like,
it is.
Why would you?
Yeah, that's why it's difficult.
Yeah, and so and plus the game is so new. By the way, I'm talking about the God of War, the most recent, 2018 God of War. It's hard to improve upon that because it's so new. It's already like fresh. It's already good.
Right.
So I was actually thinking about this when you were talking. And did you ever play this game called Rygar?
No.
Oh,
no,
man.
I have not.
So Rygar was this old game on the Nintendo.
Okay.
Right? And
Rygar.
He was like, I don't know how to describe. So to me, that was the very first time they ever introduced like Greek mythology style gameplay into a video game. Right?
Okay.
So
this is God of War before God of War was God of War.
Yes, kind of.
Oh my God, Tom.
Like you have this shield that like is on a chain, and you threw the shield like a yo-yo. You know what I mean? And it came back to you.
Yeah.
And
how old? The original Nintendo.
Original Nintendo.
So are we talking about somewhere between 1988 and 1990?
Yes.
Wow.
Yes. And your character was like a warrior, right? And you had to go through defeating, these monsters and stuff that were being brought at to you, I think, by a god.
Okay.
It might have been even a Greek god. I actually, it's been so long since I played it. But I remember having so much fun playing that game. They did do a remake later on. And, it was a pretty cool remake.
I'm looking at stills of Rygar. It looks really cool.
Yeah, it was fun. I liked it.
Yeah.
However, I thought, and I'm so glad that you brought up the whole fact of, you're not just going to update the music on the game like you wanted.
When you go that old, it's kind of weird. It's like, why is this music so up to date? But it looks like it was made in 1988.
Yeah, exactly. Right. It does. That would be weird. And I'm so glad though, because I think that would be awesome if.
By the way, your game here, Rygar, came out in 1986.
Oh, 1986.
So this predates my birth.
Yeah.
Well, I guess my game did as well. So
yeah, but I know I'm old. Okay, we get it.
That's how this show works, Tom. You try to kill my family, I call you an old man.
Yeah, I know exactly. The old man that put Will's family in peril every week. So I was thinking that would be cool to update Rygar once again, right, into now, and have Bear McCreary, who is the person that made the music for 2018 God of War, have him do the music, and it would be epic.
Yeah,
I mean, I hope people listening have played the 2018 God of War.
A lot of people have.
The music in that game is phenomenal. Like,
I can't say that I remember. I only played. I think I got like 10 hours in, and I didn't stop playing because I didn't enjoy it. I just kind of got distracted and never went back to it. But in those 10 hours, I can't say that there was a particular thing about the music that stood out to me. But the thing that stood out to me was that the entire game itself was this cohesive, immersive package.
Yeah.
Like, that game sucks you in immediately, and it just feels real, and you just get lost in it.
Yeah,
so the music has to be good.
I love it, and I like the music. I actually particularly remember like thinking about, oh man, this sounds so cool, especially on important parts where they're not really talking.
Right,
you know what I mean? It's just like maybe showing you something epic, and even the parts that were slow and parts that were meant to be sad, like the music changed very well with that, and I thought Bear McCreary did a really good job. So I was thinking, obviously, since Rygar is in the same vein, he's like, he was like the thing, the God of War before God of War, like you said. So,
that would be cool.
I think that would be awesome.
Redo the music and update the graphics. Like I would buy that game.
Yeah,
I would buy that game.
My choice. For
I like that. That's a good choice and not one I would have expected. Okay, well, we'll go to my second one, which tied for, that's why I couldn't decide. So, Do you remember a game, I'm sure you do, called Gauntlet Dark Legacy?
Oh, yes. I love Gauntlet.
Well, there's Gauntlet Legends. You play Gauntlet Legends, right? On the
Legends,
N64,
I think
right?
That's the one, yeah.
Okay, so Dark Legacy is essentially an immediate remake. So imagine like Gauntlet Legends comes out 1 year. 2 years later, they the same studio and everything remade it with extra content.
Oh, okay.
So it's like it's the exact same game with more characters.
Oh,
There's the only difference. More characters, same game.
Did they keep that same intro music?
Everything's the same. It's literally the same.
That's the song that gets stuck in my... That's what do you call those? An earworm?
Yeah, it's an earworm.
Oh, man, that gets stuck. Now it's going to be stuck in my head for days. Watch.
So I love that game. It's a hack and slash kind of adventure game, and also a collectathon. You're collecting all these different gems and rune stones and stuff. You found a rune stone and all that stuff. Please find the sound bit.
I hope I can.
And it's multiplayer. It was kind of designed to be played in arcades. If you haven't played it and you find a way to play this old janky-ass game, please do. It's amazing. You will easily sink 20 to 30 hours into it, and you'll enjoy every moment of it.
Be careful if you pick the wizard character.
Oh, he's squishy.
Yeah.
Red Fit Wizard needs food badly.
You have to like really build him up. Like you really have to.
You know, I completed that game solo wizard. I've done it before. Yeah. I've done it with warrior, wizard, minotaur, and a few other characters.
It's the barbarian that's the easiest to use because he's
a beast.
Yeah.
The Valkyrie kicks ass, but she's more defensive. Anyways, great game, good level design. I don't even necessarily need the graphics updated, and the graphics look like garbage, but I love it. If we're talking just for the music is really good, but the PlayStation sound chip, the MIDI for PlayStation, just wasn't the best.
Yeah.
Some games made better use of it than others, but if you gave that game like a full orchestration, it could be phenomenal. So I was thinking to myself, what band would I want to redo this epic music? Have you ever heard of the Trans-Siberian Orchestra, Tom?
Yes! I knew. I was about to say something like that. Yes.
So, for those of you who don't know, I think they're a world-famous band.
Yes.
But they travel the world. They're probably most famous for, well, number one, the style of music they do is a mesh between classical and hard rock or heavy metal. Mm-hmm. And they're most famous for touring the world doing Christmas theme music. Yeah. In that style. I've seen them live.
Really great.
They're phenomenal.
I wanted it.
Yeah,
I want to see them
phenomenal live.
Maybe,
the pyrotechnics are great.
Come around here.
They were last Christmas. That's how I went and saw them.
I gotta look that up.
So that's the thing is I don't know how famous they are, but I think they're world famous. Anyways, it's a huge group, like 30, 40 people involved. But they do great work, and they do great covers of already written music, holiday music and old orchestral music. Mm-hmm. I don't see any reason why they can't come in on this pre-written music and then Trans-Siberian it the fuck up.
Kill it,
dude. Can you imagine?
Kill it.
So Gauntlet Dark Legacy with Trans-Siberian Orchestra. That's my pick.
I know Trans-Siberian Orchestra is should be famous because whenever, if anyone out there listens to, let's say, like, I think it's Coast 103.5, where they always play.
That's going to be that's a local station.
Oh, that's
true. All the radio stations are local, Tom.
Well, whenever you have whatever your local station, you're right. Whatever station you have that plays only Christmas music, right?
Yeah.
All the time.
You definitely get some.
Whenever the song, what's the name of the one? Is like ding dong. Like Christmas is here. That
one, the Hungarian one.
Yeah,
I can't remember what it's
and that's
called,
by them. And the radio always plays that version.
Yeah, their version of that.
Yeah, that's and I love their version. of that
it's
song,
fantastic.
Dude. I think it's better than any other version.
I saw that live. It was great.
Man, I want to go see them live now.
But I think they would kill it. In most fantasy RPGs, they would kill it. But that's one of the few games I can say is a great game with really good music that really kind of needs an update. Mm-hmm. Honestly, I would love a remake of that game. I would pay so much money for some good studio to pick up that game and say, hey, we're remaking it.
Just revamp it.
Oh my God.
I mean, if you think about it, if all they did was remaster it, right? Mm-hmm. A little bit better graphics. They don't have to change anything else. Yeah. They could keep the same game, story, whatever you want to do.
Exactly.
Just music and remaster it.
Exactly.
They could make tons of money off that, dude.
I
think a lot of people do it.
Yeah.
So recap, mine would be Rygar, and I'll have Bear McCreary, the man who was behind the music of God of War, redo the music on Rygar.
Yeah, and mine were The Legend of Zelda with Anna Monoguchi redoing the music, and Gauntlet Dark Legacy with Trans-Siberian Orchestra redoing the music.
But dude, could you imagine?
This just in, a new study suggests leaving an Apple Podcast review is very important for a newly created podcast. So please don't forget to leave an Apple Podcast review. In financial news, Patreon supporters are among the most appreciated in the podcast industry. You can support the DCYI team by heading over to patreon.com/dude could you imagine. This has been Fritz Frivolous, reminding you to like, comment, and subscribe. Will and Tom, back to you.
Great, the trip to the past worked. Okay, I'm really thankful I have this suit. Nothing can see me, hear me, nothing can even touch me. Alright, now let's see what really happened to the dinosaurs. Okay, I think I see the meteorite. Wow, it's huge. It's coming right towards us. And wait a minute. That's not a meteorite. That's a UFO. What's going on here? What? Really? They're able to take all of the dinosaurs? Wow. Okay, well, I guess mystery solved. And we're back.
Indeed we are.
Will, the second fan question here from Nick Woisen.
Thank you, Nick.
He asks, if you could pick any moment in history to be present for and observe in its entirety, what would it be? And he gives you parameters.
Okay, let's hear the parameters.
So the parameters are, you cannot change or affect anything. Picture being incorporeal, essentially.
We are merely an observer.
Mm-hmm. You will understand the languages / contexts of what is happening.
Convenient.
Mm-hmm. You do remember the event and you can share it if you so choose, but if it does not jive with what is known at the moment, you might not be believed. So, I'm sure it's like
I can tell people, but they might not believe me. Is that?
Yeah, okay. If it's something that, right now people are just probably don't really know if it's true or not. Mm-hmm. And you're saying, no, I was there. I saw it. They might look at you as you're crazy.
No, you weren't.
Yeah,
exactly. What are you talking about? Okay, for sure.
Which might be for anything. Even if they knew it was there and you're like, well, I saw when Lincoln was elected. And I saw that, you know what I mean? Like, that would be weird.
You're going to think they're crazy. So I knew I was forgetting to do something today, and that was figuring out what the hell my answer to this question was.
So did I.
Because we were working on other things today. Gosh dang it.
To be totally fair, I actually did think of me and actually our mutual friend Haley. We actually, I told her about this one. I thought it was
did she have one?
She didn't give me one of hers, but she did tell me what she thought mine was going to be. And because I also was having a hard time, I was like, yeah, it's very hard to choose between there's so many monumental things that you can,
absolutely.
Observe or witness in history. Yeah. But she mentioned, she's like, oh, I thought for sure you would have went to the Beatles, right?
Oh, okay.
And I kind of was like, yeah, but I started thinking about that. Yeah, and I started thinking about, I was like, first of all, what moment? Mm-hmm. Second of all, let's say if I went to Shea Stadium somewhere. Actually, no, you know what? She even brought up the fact.
So watch them live.
Yeah, okay. She even brought up the fact. She's like, oh, Shea Stadium. I thought you would have said on the rooftop. Remember when they played on the rooftop?
Yeah, their final concert. Yeah,
well, sure. Which would be cool. Don't get me wrong.
I'm also sure the sound quality sucked ass.
And two, they didn't get to play a full set because after a while the cops and stuff did come and shut them down. Mm-hmm. 3, they wouldn't be playing every song that I want them to play. No. Nor did they do that at any of their concerts because they didn't have
they had very few.
Exactly, right? They wouldn't have that.
Okay.
And then I started thinking, well, maybe I would be in there in the studio at Abbey Road, maybe when they came up with Strawberry Fields or something, right?
Okay.
But the problem is, well, if I'm only and I'm not sure if this is exactly the parameter, but I'm assuming we couldn't be there more than a span of a day?
Well, that's not in the parameters, but I mean, I think a day sounds fair.
Right, because
you're there for a moment, an event.
And it's if you're just there for that in the thing, well, you're only going to be hearing one song because it takes them a while to make a song.
And it probably won't even sound the way you think.
And it wouldn't even, because you have to mix it.
It usually takes a while for you to come. There's no one moment that song was written. It was a series of moments over the course of weeks.
Exactly. Yeah. And then even after they would quote unquote finish the song, it's not really finished. It wouldn't sound exactly the same because then they have to get it mixed and edited and all that kind of stuff.
You're absolutely right. Yeah.
So I'll be honest with you, that's where everything shuts down for me because I was like, you know what, that was such a great thing until I really went in on it and started thinking about it. And I'm like, no, I would have been if I let's say, had a chance to do this, and you were only given one chance, and I did that, I would have been disappointed.
Yeah, that's a tough one. And also, it's just like, is that really what you're most curious about?
I know. That's why, even though I didn't pick a specific one, I do know I would probably want to use it for one of those, like a mystery.
Yeah, for something that no one knows.
Yeah.
Like, we have a bunch of theories, but we're not sure. I think my mind immediately went to the meteor that wiped out the dinosaurs.
Yeah, something like that, right? Like, yeah.
I mean, I don't know if that's my pick. It's probably not my pick. But it'd be fucking cool to see. Plus, I get to see dinosaurs. So that's also cool, too. Because I could talk about what they actually look like. I would know.
I would also think about things like maybe going back in like certain religious history, right? Like seeing if Jesus did right. Was there Jesus?
Yeah.
If he was there,
was he a person? Was he crucified?
Was it all like everything that says, you know?
Yeah, absolutely.
But then even the problem is that, okay, I go and I witness it. But if I came here and started saying that, that's going to probably cause a lot of waves and problems with a lot of people.
You know, it's funny. How concerned are you about telling anybody else? I wasn't planning on telling anyone.
At least my...
I would tell my immediate people.
Yeah, that's what I mean. And then I kind of thought like, but is that really that's not what I'm like most curious about anyway.
Right.
So I don't know. You know, one thing was the Dyatlov Pass, right? The one I told you about I think it was in Siberia, where they were going up and they found the bodies and stuff, lying dead, and they don't know what it was, right? Also, wasn't there like a when was it? I want to say, was it in the early 1900s? Also in Siberia, wasn't there like a huge explosion that like flattened like this huge chunk of like forest? All the trees were flattened.
I don't know about this.
Yeah,
that's interesting.
Yeah, you should look it up. They don't know what. I think to this day they still don't know what caused it. It was they didn't.
What year was it?
Early 1900s.
So it was before World War I?
Oh yeah. Before, I think it was before.
I mean,
then.
my immediate thought goes to a meteor.
But there's no crater. There's no crater. There's no like, you know what I mean? There was no other like.
Was there a body of water the meteor could have landed in? Maybe, I don't know.
No, not that I remember.
Or maybe it sailed close to the Earth, like overhead.
I was thinking maybe
blew a bunch of shit over and landed in the ocean.
Yeah, maybe.
I'm just literally spitballing. I know nothing about the thing you're talking about.
So. I mean, it could be. You know what I mean? I mean, it could be something like that. They just didn't know. But my point was like some type of mystery.
Yeah, sure, absolutely.
And I'm having like trouble picking one. You know?
Yeah.
Like who killed Jimmy Hoffa?
Right. Or JFK. Like how did that actually go down?
True.
You know, or well, we know how Abraham Lincoln died, but it'd be a trip to fucking see it.
Yeah.
I wish I'd done my research earlier.
Honestly, you know what? I think that there is something that bothers me a lot. Not bothers the wrong word. There is something that always does capture my imagination.
What is
and
that?
I always still want to know if it's really true or not.
What?
I think I would try to witness whatever happened that started Area 51.
What do you mean by that?
That event. The event of when the government surrounded what the government says was quote unquote top secret weather sensory, equipment that crash landed. And other people were saying that it was a UFO that they saw that crashed. Right. So then they took this thing over and then they brought it to quote unquote Area 51. I think I would probably.
Well, how sure are we even that part's true?
I know. That's why I would want to go for that.
I don't know anything about Area 51. So Area 51 was a place that already existed.
No, I don't know if it already existed. They might have made that area because it was supposed to be close by to where I think that happened, the crash site. So I would want to see what it was, why I would want to be there for when that day was when they brought that there. Whatever this stuff was.
I love so hard. You're standing there and then you see the wreckage and stuff and you just see, yeah, it was a piece of weathering equipment.
I know,
crazy. You'd be like, God damn it, I fucking wasted my goddamn. Yeah, I can see that. Well, I had a similar one.
But at least I would know.
You would know, and no one would believe you. But
that would.
Well, I had the same thought with the Lost Roman Legion. And no one knows what happened.
Yeah.
But I was thinking, wouldn't it be about a bitch if I went there and suddenly they're like, you know what? fuck the Roman army. And then they just all disperse. So I'm like, God damn it. This isn't a cool mystery at all.
I know. And I'll be honest, I kind of really feel like that's how all of them would be. I really feel like there would be, you know, my alien thing, your Lost Roman Legion.
Well, granted, like, okay, so like the Lost Roman Legion, like it would have been very difficult for them to disperse and then no one to like track down at least some of these guys, right? There's at least 1,000 of them. But granted, it would still be kind of hilarious if I wasted my shot on that, if you will. Yeah.
But point being would be, you know, I don't think it's going to be something that I'm pretty sure a lot of us would hope, like, oh, they went into a portal or something cool. You know what I mean? It wouldn't be that. Like,
I go, you see a flying saucer loop over and like beam them all up and leave. I'm like, holy shit.
Yeah, that would be the most awesome thing. And then that same
alien... That'd be terrifying.
Yeah, and then that same alien craft crashes in Area 51 when I'm there looking at my historical event. You know? And only
you have the two guys, and then like these dudes dressed as Romans just poured out of the spaceship.
They also were discombobulated, and they're, you know,
and only you and I, Latin.
Only you and I could talk about it with each other and believe each other.
Know.
You know what I mean? Like,
oh man, it is. This is a tough one.
Another good mystery, because he says in the parameters that you're going to be incorporeal, right? Yeah. I'm assuming that means nothing can hurt you or kill you.
Yeah, sure.
So, you know, what happened to Amelia Earhart? You know what I mean? Like maybe be in the cockpit of her plane. And that would probably be really scary because you know she probably crashed. So like, but at least you would know. While you're going down, then you'd come back.
I figured mine out. I just figured mine out. You talking about the incorporeal part? In the parameters, it says that we cannot be harmed in any way, right? It says that?
It doesn't say that we cannot be harmed, but it says imagine being incorporeal essentially, and you will understand any language or context.
Okay, can we agree that the premise is that like you are immune, you are an observer, and you cannot be harmed?
Yes,
you can observe whatever it is you want.
I take if you say that you're incorporeal, that means like. You can't touch nothing. Nothing can't touch you.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, so. Easy. I have 100% picked my moment.
What's that?
Can you guess?
No. What would you pick?
The birth of the universe, man.
Oh my!
I want to see what the fuck happened. Like, let's see what's up.
That would actually be. Well, even if we kind of already knew, like, even if it was like a, you know, some kind of explosion, Big Bang thing or something. That would still be the most probably awesome thing you could ever witness.
Yeah, if I could exist outside of the singularity, you know what I mean? Like, because I'm incorporeal, right? I am an observer. It's probably going to break my brain. I'm probably not going to come back out of this the same, but I got to know.
Yeah, I mean, I know, right?
Yeah.
If you, this is going to make my nose bleed, you know, right? But like, if you think about it, so if you picking that moment in history, in time, but can you be out of time because you're witnessing before it happens? You want to witness it happening.
Witnessing the birth of time.
So we would need to
itself.
see
but it's where physics and logic kind of break down. It's like I want to go to that point as long as I can't be harmed. Like according to the rules that we set down here, I can't be harmed. So even if I'm looking and I can't understand what I'm seeing, or I see nothing at first until there is finally something.
Yeah.
At least I can't be harmed. And then the thing comes to pass. And then I can at least see like the moment the universe was born and after for a little bit.
Not even that. You would see what was there before that.
Exactly.
That's
why I would choose that.
Yeah. Oh, okay. You won. You win. That would be the best. You know what? That'd be honest.
Won.
Yeah, you know what I mean?
Why is it always a competition?
What if you did that? What if you did that, right? Imagine this. You did that. And right before the universe forms, you hear, "You have come to me, my child." Like in a booming voice or something.
I thought you were going to go a different way with a similar like voice situation. And instead it says, "You're not supposed to be here."
Oh, that would be,
I'm sorry.
That would be scary. Yeah, you know what? I think it already would be very like ominous and like kind of scary no matter what the voice says.
Absolutely.
But depending on what the voice says is when you're going to shit yourself or not.
Absolutely.
If you could shit yourself when you're incorporeal. I don't know how that would work. But like, will the incorporeal shit just come out and like, you know what I mean?
I don't know how I've done it, but I've done it.
Yeah, I know. Because if I did hear the voice say like, "You have come to me, my child," like I would kind of be like, "Yes, I have," right? You know, whatever, just to appease whatever's talking. But if you heard it say, "You are not supposed to be here," I'd be like, "I didn't do it." I would have been like,
I'm sorry.
Nick Woisen. His name is Nick Woisen. He sent me here.
Damn, you threw our patron under the bus in an instant. So I picked mine. I don't know if you got anything you want to add.
I picked the same. I'm going to be there with you because there's no way you can beat that, man.
Incorporeal high five.
Yes. Wow, we're going through each other. But dude, could you imagine? The Draft Royale. Welcome, everybody. This is The Draft Royale. Heroes of History. And basically how this is going to work is me and Will are going to pick a team based of 5 people. And they're all going to be from history on this edition. And basically what's going to happen is they're all going to be assigned a role. And the roles are Commander, Scout, Medic, Sniper, and Tank. And out of these 5 roles, they're going to have a battle royale, and they're going to, this is going to be a listener-based battle. So
so you guys got to let us know which team you think wins this gladiator match. And it's essentially we're building 2 gladiator teams. This is the Heroes of History edition. So these are all going to be historical figures or people from the past. And I think the rule we came up with were 1945 or older than that. And then we have a couple other rules.
You can't pick 2, and you can't have any 2 people of the same era of history.
Right, yeah. Everyone's got to be from a different time period, and we can't share teammates.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
So if one of us chooses Julius Caesar, the other can't.
Exactly.
And I think those are all the rules, right?
Those are the rules. And remember, like I said, this is a listener-based battle, so you must chime in, leave a comment, let us know who do you think would win, Team Will or Team Tom.
And you can tweet at us, you can email us, however you want to let us know. Just let us know, and that way we can talk about it next episode. But to decide who's going to lead off this draft, I have a nice dice roller with a D20 sitting staring at me. And Tom, I'll let you do the honors of evens or odds.
I'll go with even.
All right. And here we go. It is a 19. So odds, I get to go first.
Figures the history buff goes first.
And I have a whole document that I made up here. So hold on, I'll pull this up. So my first pick of my 5. I'm going with the one that I think we might have the same one. So I want to get it from you before you grab it. It's my tank.
Oh, okay.
Is your I think I remember you saying your tank was from medieval Europe.
Yes.
Because mine is as well.
Okay.
For my tank, I have chosen Sir William Marshall, the greatest knight in history. Yes, I knew it.
Damn it.
I knew I had to grab this before it was too late. So, number one, he's got a great name, right, William?
Yeah, I know. Right?
Secondly,
that's the only thing I didn't like about this one. No, just
secondly, he is the knight that the movie A Knight's Tale is very, 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 very loosely based off of. And I love that movie. It's a good movie. But more importantly, here are my reasons for choosing him as my melee combatant, my dude who's going to get down and dirty and fuck people up. He was revered as a tournament champion, esteemed by his peers, as a paragon of chivalry and a baron of the realm. He was trained in skilled horsemanship and in weaponry and military tactics. As a tournament knight, he took part of and was successful in over 500 bouts, earning him the title of the greatest knight that ever lived. One legend reports that while on the road, he and his noblewoman companion were attacked. William reportedly fought against an estimated 60 men-at-arms and bought the noblewoman enough time to escape to her castle. And finally, already renowned, William, simply referred to as the Marshal, was the only man to ever unhorse the future King Richard I, also known as Richard the Lionheart. Legendary dude. It is said that Marshall could have killed Richard, but instead chose to kill his horse as in an act of chivalry. The two became fast friends and allies afterwards.
Cool.
For my tank, I wanted a dude in heavy armor. Granted, there's someone who could just kind of march out there, or better yet, get on the horse and like close as much ground as they can between them and like whoever they're trying to take out. And then, outside of like, certain guns and stuff, like the armor's going to keep them relatively safe to a certain degree. Yeah. And I just wanted a beast of a dude. And so I chose Sir William Marshall, the greatest knight who ever lived. And that's my first pick, Tom.
Well, that was going to be my first pick, but we got to see who went first. But I guess our friends, because my second backup is your best friend, Richard the Lionhearted.
Oh, okay. We already know my tank's better than yours then.
Yeah.
But good choice still.
Well, Well, maybe better. I don't know. Yours,
Mine literally took your dude out.
Yeah, that's true. But I mean, but both are pretty much the same in the fact of
both
their
knights.
feet.
They're both knights.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
they're both knights, and their feet.
Yeah, on another day, it could have gone the other way. Yeah, sure. I buy that.
And actually, the reasons I even chose a knight is the exact same reason why you just explained. Mm-hmm. There is one difference though with Richard the Lionheart, which I liked, and it was and this is the reason why he was my second pick after William, which was he was ill with scurvy at a time during one of his crusades, and the Lionhearted had his men carry him around on a stretcher anyway, and positioned him in places where he could use his crossbow.
So even when he was sick,
he was like, I do not give a fuck. Carry me around,
That's
guys.
pretty cool.
And
that's pretty badass.
Know what I mean? Yeah.
That's pretty badass.
I figured that if I'm going to have a tank, especially someone that's going to take damage, well, I still want them to fight. You know what I mean? Like no matter what. And it sounds like he has that personality trait in him. He's just not going to give up. So that's the reason why I think as a tank, obviously I couldn't have my first pick. My second pick is Richard the Lionheart.
Okay, I think that's a good pick. So the way I think this works is you get to pick again, and then it passes to me.
So then I guess I'm going to go to my commander.
Ooh, okay. I'm very curious about your commander.
My commander that I have picked is George S. Patton.
Oh, General Patton. Yes. Okay, that's interesting.
General Patton.
Okay,
For
he's a badass.
Obvious reasons, yes. I mean, there's even when he first joined the West Point and everything like that, he created something, I think it was called the M1913 Saber, and it's now most commonly known as the Patton Saber. You know what I mean?
Wow, okay.
I mean, this guy was kind of born and bred to be a leader. You know what I mean? Like
he invaded Italy's side, right?
Yeah, he. Well, you know what? Let me tell you this. These are the commands that he held.
Okay.
15th United States Army, 3rd United States Army, 7th United States Army, 2nd Corps, Desert Training Center, the 1st Armored Corps, 2nd Armored Division, 2nd Brigade, 2nd Armored Division, 3rd Cavalry Regiment, 5th Cavalry Regiment, 3rd Squadron, 3rd Cavalry, 304th Tank Brigade. Okay? You don't get to be in commands of those unless you have people who respect the shit out of you.
Yeah, sure, absolutely.
There's no way.
I think as an American, most of us have heard of General Patton, for sure.
I hope. Yeah, I hope.
Also, there's a good movie about him.
Yeah, there is actually, yeah. He's been in the Mexican Revolution, in the Battle of San Miguelito, World War I, Saint Mihiel campaign, and I don't know if I'm saying those correctly, and the Meuse-Argonne campaign.
Okay, so he was involved in a few wars.
Yeah, World War II, Operation Torch, North African campaign, Tunisia campaign, Sicily campaign, Western Allied invasion of France. I mean, it goes on and on. I could read all of them, but I don't want to do a boring history thing of him.
Okay.
But I mean, for obvious reasons, what you want your commander to be is, and he also, he's a strategist. He knows how to get his men to do what he needs them to do and to be the best that they're going to be. And with a group of 5 men, essentially 4 if you don't count himself, right?
Right.
I mean, for him to have to just command 4 other people,
he's got this.
He's got it. Yeah.
Okay. Interesting.
These other people, even though they may not be from his own time period, will respect him. They know
I think he's going to have a presence. I think a lot of our commanders that we got to choose from are going to have the presence.
And which would be obvious because that's why you chose him as commander.
Right. Exactly. Okay.
But, I think it's not just him being able to command. I think it's his strategy on being able to utilize, to know what the other people can do and to use them in the way that's most effective.
Okay, for sure. I'm now that you've chosen commander, I know my commander is safe. So my commander is going to be the last one I reveal today.
Oh, okay.
So it's back to me. I get 2 picks now. Mm-hmm. So my pick number 2, I'm going to do my scout. Yeah, I'm going to do my scout.
Okay.
So for my scout, Tom, he hails from feudal Japan. I have chosen Hattori Hanzo, the demon shinobi.
Oh, Oh, okay.
So Hattori Hanzo, he was from the Iga family, a place known for ninjas, where no samurai clan had any dominance when the samurais really did run the place. He started his shinobi training when he was only 8 years old, and his fame started to spread when he was 20 years old after saving the daughters of a noble with a small group of ninja and also capturing many high-ranking members of the Imagawa clan.
God, when I was 8, when I was playing video games, and
I
when
know,
I was
right?
20,
Seriously.
I was partying with my friends?
This dude was training to become a fucking ninja. He defended the town of Iga with only a few hundred men and won a victory against the son of Oda Nobunaga in 1579. Hattori Hanzo also strategically contributed to the siege of Odawara Castle in 1590 and was one of the most well-paid fighters of his time. His stipend was over 8 million USD in today's value. This dude was getting paid 8 million for his campaigns. Like, that's how effective of a killer he was. And a commander as well. Yeah. He and his men were chosen to guard the doors of the shogunate in Tokyo. And there's a phrase here: the Hanzomon line in Tokyo ends by the doors Hanzo guarded. And finally, he was known as the Demon Shinobi Hanzo because of his strategic thinking and his combat prowess. Like, if you need a killer in the night to sneak up on you, I don't think there's better than the Demon Shinobi.
Yeah, that is.
So that's my scout.
Really good
that's my scout.
Choice. That is awesome, actually.
So I get another pick before I pass it back to you, and I'm going to do my sniper.
Oh, okay.
My sniper hails from the Wild West, and she goes by the name of Annie Oakley.
Man,
the little sure shot.
Yeah, I was actually going to pick her.
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
But then I chose somebody else.
Okay,
because I really did figure, like, I was like, well, if I don't pick. You know what I mean? I was like, or if I do pick her, I really felt like either you're going to go first and then you're going to take another one from me. And like,
okay, all right. You were thinking about it, though.
I was.
So Annie Oakley, for those of you who don't know, she was considered one of the greatest sharpshooters of the Western era, in America at least. Considered maybe one of the greatest to ever in the world at her time. And I would say from my limited knowledge of the time period, she definitely takes the cake as probably the greatest in the Wild West. She was so good that she was pretty much the star of Buffalo Bill's Wild West show. So she began trapping animals at age 7 and shooting and hunting at age 8. Again, with these 8-year-olds, man.
I know.
They're out of control.
Yeah. I know. Like, I can't imagine myself.
I know. Though some sources have her doing both by the time she was 6 in order to put food on her family's table. By the way, Annie Oakley's life starts off so tough, dude. Times were tough back then. And her mom was doing everything that she could to keep that family fed, and she just couldn't do it. And Annie was in an orphanage pretty early. She ended up getting her kids back, but
unless you had some kind of
Annie's
wealth,
life
you
was
were having a hard
tough,
time,
man. But by age 15, she outgunned a professional sharpshooter. She ended up marrying that guy.
Oh, really?
He ended up being a really cool dude from what I've read about him.
Well, wait a minute, though. Like, okay, yeah. I can see, wait, did it say when she did that?
She met him when she was 15. I think they got married when she was 16 and he was 20.
Yeah, that's okay. That's what I figured. That's usually back then how it happened.
Dude, that's like nothing. Her mom was 18, married her 48-year-old dad.
Yeah, so that's how a lot of that happened though, back then. Yeah.
At 30 paces, she could split. She could split a playing card held edge on. She hit dimes tossed in the air. She shot cigarettes from her husband's lips regularly for the show. Wow. And a playing card being thrown through the air, she would riddle it before it touched the ground.
Wow.
She would ga, 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 ga.
That is awesome.
Yeah.
I like seeing stuff like that.
I know, right? She could shoot over her shoulder with amazing accuracy. In 1887, she was presented to Queen Victoria, and later in Berlin, she performed her cigarette trick with, at his insistence, Crown Prince Wilhelm, later on Kaiser Wilhelm II, holding a cigarette. So, I don't know. I know you probably don't know much about Kaiser Wilhelm, but he was a little bit fucking crazy. Yeah. And so he insisted on being the person with the cigarette. And she shot the cigarette out of Kaiser Wilhelm's hand. So I'm picturing, this is what I'm picturing right now. I'm picturing Sir William Marshall beating the shit out of Richard I while being covered by Annie Oakley from afar, covering anyone trying to get close to him. And, the demon Shinobi, Hanzo, sneaking up and coming for the kill of Patton. He's coming for Patton. Okay. He's coming. It's your turn, Tom.
Okay. Annie Oakley's a good choice. I do want to say something that I think I wish I could remember his name, but if you look up on YouTube, and I think it's called the Annie Oakley shot or something like that, is where she had it was either a rifle or I think sometimes she could do it with a revolver too. But I think it was a rifle with a mirror on one end. The rifle's over her shoulder facing her back, like pointing away from her.
Yeah.
And she uses the mirror on there to aim what she's going to hit at
wow.
behind her, and then she hits it.
Holy shit.
She was phenomenal at that kind of stuff. And there's a guy on YouTube that does all that, all of her tricks and stuff, and he's really cool.
Oh, that's awesome.
I love watching that stuff.
That's really cool.
So I'm going to go back then because I like to mirror your choices to show you who I get.
Okay, right? yeah, absolutely.
So who's your scout was?
My scout was Hattori Hanzo, right? The demon Shinobi.
Hattori Hanzo. Okay. I am going to pick someone that was back in, I guess this would be the era of ancient West, the Old West.
Okay, Wild
right?
West, yeah. Wild West.
And back in the day, a lot of Native Americans, this was when, obviously the United States government, was trying to establish their territory throughout the North
Yeah, they were
America,
taking over the continent. That's what they were doing.
Now, when that was happening, obviously there was a lot of tribes that were warring tribes that were trying to fight back.
Yeah.
Some acclimated. Some, was like, okay, hey, the white man got us beat. We're not going to fight.
Some didn't put up a fight. Some
didn't put up a fight, and they tried to join, So what it ended up happening was, when this happened, they were trying to create forts, like basically points of areas that were concentrated with U.S. cavalry and U.S.
soldiers. There's forts across the United States. There's cities still named after those forts.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. One of them was in Arizona.
Okay.
And in that area, they found that they were using General George Crook. He was the commander of that fort in Arizona.
Okay.
He was utilizing these Native American scouts, right? Mm-hmm. And was having tremendous success with them because the Native Americans were using like, they were using a type of warfare that like we weren't used, like the United States were not used to.
Okay.
They were very good at like hiding their tracks. You know what I mean? Like you don't know when they're going to come for it. They're going to ambush you. You know what I mean? They were like masters of that type of warfare.
Yeah.
And they may not have had all the weaponry that our cavalry had, you know what I mean? But like basically, they could like a smaller group of, let's say a Native American tribe could sometimes take out a larger group of
with infiltration.
US military. Yeah, because of the fact that they knew the area. They knew where to hide. They knew where to get the food. You know what I mean? Like the military during that time had to bring that stuff with them.
Right.
Because they didn't know the area. They didn't know, there might be hills or mountains or caves over here. And they didn't know that.
Yeah. So is there a particular one you're choosing?
So there was this one. So when they did get these Native American trackers that would track down these other warring tribes, they had great success. But one of the most famous was he became a sergeant in the army, which is it wasn't all that popular to do because he was Native American.
Right.
Sergeant William Alchese.
A lot of Williams on this list.
I know. Yeah. Sergeant William.
I doubt that was his real name.
Yeah, Alchese. I don't think.
I wonder
that was
what
his
his tribe name was.
I believe he was an Apache because General Crook said. I think he was quoted saying one of the best ways to find an Apache is to use an Apache.
That's so
you know what I mean,
fucked
to
up.
track. I know
that's so fucked up.
It's actually even more fucked up of what they ended up doing at the very end when they no longer needed trackers. Like they essentially kind of put them in with the Native Americans that they were holding.
Of course they fucking did.
Yeah,
of course they did.
It was weird because General Crook did at first. He actually did recommend them to get medals of honor from our military. You know what I mean? Because like he said, they were doing the most awesome job he's seen anyone ever do.
Yeah, I'm sure they were. But still, goddamn.
Anyways, but that would be my choice because he was able to find. He could find any trace of tracks, anything, whether it be animal.
He could hunt anyone down, anything,
he
anywhere.
Could hunt anyone down.
Yeah.
Not only can he just hunt anyone down, he knew how to defend himself. He knows how to fight.
Yeah.
He knows how to keep hidden.
Okay.
He knows where to find his own food to survive if he's out in somewhere and he has to wait.
Yeah.
So I think all those points make him a phenomenal.
I think he's a great pick.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think he's a
way better than Hattori Hanzo.
I don't know about that, but I love the idea of these guys sneaking and then they run into each other.
I know.
Oh shit.
I feel like
here's the question: do they just keep sneaking by each other?
Yeah,
or do they like face off?
I think if they ever even found each other, like
they pass each other and they don't even notice the other one's there.
They don't even notice that they're in there. But I think if they did find each other, both would have been surprised. They both would have like, oh shit. You know what I mean? Like,
interesting. Okay, so that's your scout.
That's my scout.
Are you doing your
and
sniper?
What was the other one? The sniper.
I did sniper.
The sniper. I am going to butcher this last name.
Oh, okay.
Let me spell the last name before I say it.
Okay.
So I'm choosing Francis Pagamagobow. So I'm thinking that's Pagamagabo.
Okay. I don't know.
I could be wrong.
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
Okay, tell me about this person.
Pagamagabo? Pagamagabo. That's what I'm going to say.
Okay.
So he was a Canadian sniper that served in World War I. So I just want to make sure World War I and World War II
is okay. I will allow that, yeah.
And is credited with 378 enemy kills. He was born on
is this the Finnish dude? The Swedish dude? The Scandinavian? Yeah, I've heard of this person.
Oh, okay, yeah.
He's like alone out there, just taken out. Yeah.
Okay. So that was that's
a good pick. I considered him.
Mm-hmm. He was deployed February of 1915 with the 1st Canadian Infantry Battalion, and he quickly saw action during the Second Battle of Ypres. I think that's how that's said. But due to his sharp shooting skills that he developed because of hunting, I think a lot of people who are good, like I think it probably
started
comes early
young
from hunting. Yeah. But he was instrumental in numerous battles, helping his battalion fend off countless waves of German soldiers. But one of the major accomplishments, this is the one reason why I really liked him, was one of his major accomplishments that he did was he was fighting off German forces. And, whenever there's a skirmish that happens on the lines, you know how in the middle there's what's usually called no man's land?
Yeah.
Right? Because it's technically one side didn't claim it yet and the other side can't defend it fully, right? So there's like that space of like no man's land.
Yeah, it's the space between the two fighting trenches, yeah.
Yeah, basically the most dangerous part to be in, right? Because if you're not getting hit by your own people shooting,
not only is the most dangerous place to be in, no one goes there.
Exactly. Yeah. Hence why it's called no man's land. One of the reasons. Anyway, they were running out of all their supplies, and he actually ran into the no man's land alone and brought back enough supplies from dead soldiers in the field and carried it back to his own unit, which was just enough for them to do a final counterattack and win that.
Wow. Holy crap.
So I'm thinking, if I have this sniper that obviously is good at like sniping and staying in back.
Yeah.
But when push comes to shove, because snipers, they're not always safe where they're at.
No,
Sooner or later, they're going to get sawn.
Yeah.
I see that he has skills enough to be able to move and be able to know what to do.
Yeah.
In a situation like that.
Yeah. So I think it's a good pick. What was the name again? It was Jacob.
His name? No, it was Francis Pagamagabo.
Okay, for sure.
Pagamagabo. I don't know.
I like that.
Yeah.
So those are your two picks. So you have to pick your medic. Is that your last one?
That would be my...
And I still have my medic and my commander. Okay.
Yeah.
Is that right? Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, because I did my sniper, my commander, my scout. Well, wait a minute.
You did your commander and your tank.
And my tank. Yeah, so my medic is the last.
And now you've done sniper. Yeah, okay. So you got one left. I got two. And it's back to me. So I'm going to start with my medic. And this is the one person on my list that I didn't know about before, like trying to put this team together in my head. I guess I've just never really picked up on a lot of like old school like doctors. I don't know. I don't know, but I had to look this one up, and I'm very, very happy with my pick. So my medic for my gladiatorial history team is Private First Class Desmond Doss.
Oh, okay.
In 1945, then Private First Class Desmond Doss became the first conscientious objector that actually received the Medal of Honor. So he refused to kill. He refused to do any fighting whatsoever. It was against his religious beliefs, but he still joined up as a medic. The Medal of Honor came for Doss's actions in Okinawa in May of 1945. Over 3 weeks of fighting, he retrieved approximately 75 casualties under artillery, mortar, and machine gun fire. According to his Medal of Honor citation citation, on May 21st, Doss was wounded by a grenade while carrying out another retrieval mission. He dressed his own injuries while waiting 5 hours for someone to retrieve him. Meanwhile, Doss still attended other wounded soldiers on the field, even directing the litter bearers to aid other men first. A sniper then shot him in the arm, breaking the bone. Doss made a splint out of a rifle stock and crawled 300 yards to an aid station. This dude, I didn't know about him before this. This dude's a fucking badass. Mm-hmm. He's out here saving lives, refusing to shoot a gun, out here saving lives, getting shot, getting blown up, stitching himself up, and still saving people. Like, this dude did not stop. Desmond Doss, you were a cool dude.
Yeah, that does sound
He's my medic. World War II. And now my final pick, my commander. Who's going to command this elite team that I've built, Tom? Well, probably the greatest commander to ever live. How about that?
Okay.
Alexander the Great.
Oh, okay. Okay. All right.
Going
way back.
Ancient Greece. Considered the greatest military commander in history. By age 30, he had created one of the largest empires in history, stretching from Greece to northwestern India. He was undefeated in battle till the day he died, and is widely considered to be the history's greatest and most successful military commanders. He was a military genius who used guile, ingenuity, and lateral thinking to defeat even vastly superior forces. The man brought down the greatest empire the world had ever seen, seemingly without difficulty and within a matter of just a couple years. He conquered most of the known world while fighting far from home. He never lost a single battle. He led from the front. He was tutored by Aristotle and maintained his passion for philosophy throughout his life and spread Greek culture across the globe. He's Alexander the Great for a reason.
Good pick.
And I think he can command this gladiatorial team to victory through pure machismo alone.
Yeah.
That's my guy.
Yeah, that's cool. I mean, he's not a patent, but that's cool. That's good.
Okay, for sure.
Okay, so I just noticed something about my medic here.
Yeah.
And I guess it's going to have to, if you agree to it.
Okay.
If you let me have, because I just noticed that actually the time frame is going to be similar to my Scout, I think. But
Scout was World War I, right?
No, my Scout was from Wild West, so like 1877.
Okay.
But this takes place, I think, a little bit before that in the Civil War.
I think that's fair.
So it's
because
fair?
Civil War and Wild West are in American history considered different time periods.
Okay.
Wild West is what was between the Civil War and kind of like the Industrial Revolution of the 20th century.
Yeah.
That's where the Wild West fits.
Okay.
So the Wild West was really only like a 35-year period.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
So, okay, because I actually did, because I think I told you before, I did have another medic, and I thought it was really cool. And it's from the same list where you got your medic.
Okay.
But I already had someone from World War II, my commander.
Yeah.
So I couldn't.
Yeah, you were attached to that.
Yeah, I really liked him, but I couldn't do it.
Okay, so who's your medic?
Her name is Mary Edwards Walker.
Okay.
And she was the only woman in her medical school class in 1855. Her medical patients floundered because few people trusted a female doctor. So that was the only thing, was the time era was such a downfall for women because like nobody I don't understand. Like if you're good, you're good. It doesn't matter if you're man or woman. You know what I mean? Like
cultural norms and societal it'll just
But she did phenomenal things during the Civil War, and the things that the reason why I liked picking her was for a few reasons. So even though she knew that she was going to not be treated well and not be like accepted into the civil army and everything like that because she's a woman, she didn't care. She still volunteered. She still went there. And when she went there and they made her become a nurse, whenever the doctor wasn't there or whenever she had the chance, she would do what a doctor had to do. You know what I mean? And,
she took charge.
And then not only that, she ended up getting captured. And even when she was captured, she would still help the other prisoners.
She was just out there saving lives.
Yeah, she would just still be out there saving lives no matter what.
Yeah.
And even after the war was over and everything, she actually actually right before, I think it was for several months, in 1864, she was accused of being a spy. Like, you know what I mean? Just because, I know, right? Like, and it still didn't stop her, because then in 1865, she actually finally became the only woman ever to receive the Medal of Honor for her efforts at the first Battle of Bull Run.
Wow.
But not only that, after that, she actually
after the war, she campaigned for women's rights, temperance, and even ran for political office before women even had the right to vote. So what that tells me is that she doesn't care whatever you're going to try to bring at us. Yeah. She doesn't care. She's still going to heal my people.
Okay.
You know what I mean? She's that good.
She's very respectful. This is a very good pick, Tom.
Yeah, she's very, she's very
tenacious.
Tenacious. That's
unstoppable.
The word I was looking for.
Okay. Yeah. I believe it.
So that's my medic. So that's my team.
All right. So let's do a recap. Do you want to go first? Or you want me to go first?
Okay. Yeah. So my medic.
All right. We got Team Tom. Let's hear it.
Team Tom. My medic, Civil War, Mary Edwards Walker. And my tank is going to be from the medieval ages, and he's a knight, Richard I, Richard the Lionhearted. And my sniper is going to be, again, a name I can't pronounce, from the World War I era, Francis Pagamagabo. That's what it looks like to me.
It sounds like you made it up.
I know. That's why I'm like, my scout is going to be from the Old West era, and it's a Native American, but he went by the name of Sergeant William Alchesay, Alchesay. Alchesay. Mm-hmm. And of course, all commanded from the greatest commander there ever was.
Okay, go ahead.
World War II, George Patton.
All right. Mm-hmm. So then we have Team Will, which is, we're going to start from the tank, who's going to be up front, Sir William Marshall, considered the greatest knight in history. He's going to be backed up by his sharpshooter, Annie Oakley, the sharpest shooter of the West. So yeah, we have medieval Europe. We have the Wild West. Then we have our scout, hidden and unseen by all until he assassinates Patton, Hattori Hanzo, the demon Shinobi. Mm-hmm. Making sure everyone's surviving, we got Desmond Doss, the private first class from World War II, who saved quite a few lives and got the Medal of Honor. And finally, commanding this resolute and very impressive team is none other than the greatest commander to ever grace the face of the earth, Alexander the Great. Who built an empire by age 30. I don't know what the fuck Patton did by age 30, but it sure wasn't build a fucking empire.
Patton did way more than that by age 30. Let me tell you that.
It'll be up to our audience. Who do you think won, Team Tom or Team Will? Let us know, and we'll talk about it next episode here on Dude, Could You Imagine?
The Draft Royale. And that is all we have for you tonight. We will continue to bring you up-to-date coverage as new imaginings develop. Please don't forget, you could join our Patreon at patreon.com/dude-could-you-imagine. Another way to support our podcast is by leaving an Apple Podcast review. You can subscribe to us on Instagram at dude_could-you-imagine, on Twitter at DCYimagine, and on our YouTube channel where you can leave a like and a comment. If you would like to contact us with what you are imagining, you can email us at dudecouldyoumagine@gmail.com. This has been Fritz Frivolous, and from all of us here at Dude Could You Imagine, keep on imagining.
Welcome back, everybody.
What? You're supposed to say your name. Why'd you look at me?
I don't know.
You just stopped. I'm just slowly opening my water bottle.
Dude, I literally thought, I looked at you. You're right. I looked at you like, okay, aren't you going to say something now?
Yeah, I was like, wait, you're not even done.
This is going to go at the end as a stinger. Okay.